Well, for our first meeting, we all basically just sat in a circle and we talked about what interests us, and surprisingly enough, we all like the topic of sex. And we wanted to pick something that was controversial so that we could attract audiences, so we thought maybe prostitution would work.
Yeah, and once we chose prostitution, it seemed like something everyone agreed on. We all went away, found our own separate interviews with prostitutes, brought them back, and it was a unanimous decision to choose Brooke's story. Her story really caught our attention because she's living a double life. She's a physicist. She's this just normal girl who's just wanting to have a life in science and, you know, get her PhD. And then on the other side of it, she's a call girl. She's a prostitute. So to have that duality really attracted us to the piece. Well, at first it was difficult because we'd never been in this position before. We weren't directors by any means, and we weren't necessarily allowed to voice our personal opinions. So what we ended up having to do is just really think in an objective way. So we'd see, we'd watch it, and we'd have to say things that we learned in class, like the tempo seems fast at that point, or the staging is scattered, or I didn't hear that line. Just more technical things was the focus, what we had to focus on, which was challenging at times because you want to voice your opinion, but you have to think in terms of the actual design.
We just wanted to ask our performers the right questions to make them think in a specific way, to kind of guide them in the right direction. And it was challenging, but I think eventually we got the hang of it, and I think back to our first rehearsal, and we've come a long way, so, yeah. Viewpoints were kind of the foundation for our piece. You know, we started our rehearsals working with them a lot. We had our performers do grid work in character. We would have them work as the Belle du Jour, and we would have them work as Brooke.
Yeah, we used flow a lot as well, and viewpoints really helped because we do viewpoints with heels on and without heels on, and that really changed a lot of how the images came out. And we also used complementary shapes, and that specific part of viewpoints was used in a lot of our performance. We would take pictures of the shapes we really liked so we could remember them and use them later on, and that was a lot.
We're glad we did.
Yeah, that would help a lot.
Yeah. Costuming has really influenced our piece. One of the lines from our piece itself is, if you were going to play a prostitute, you were always going to be in some state of undress. And that's exactly what we wanted from our performers, because they were playing prostitutes.
In terms of our recordist, we had her in business attire because she sort of is representing the business side, which we also really want to showcase. We didn't want to make a piece that was purely just, here's a bunch of people in sexy clothes, you know.
Exactly, because sexy clothes isn't just sexy clothes, it's a uniform for a prostitute. It's a symbol of power, and it's a symbol of professionalism. And I think we did a pretty good job at showing that.
In terms of heels, we had heels on and off because heels itself represent so much. When you look at a woman in heels, you think sometimes sexiness, you think power, you think business, and all of these are themes that are recurring all the time in our piece. And playing with one heel off, one heel on.
We had our performers experiment with different items of sexy clothing. We had them wear their heels in every rehearsal because we wanted them to feel comfortable and confident enough to be able to showcase themselves like that to an entire audience. If you can't do it in rehearsal, you can't do it for everyone else. So we were very careful about that.
How much